Hi there, it's me again. It's Claire from Love Poppet. It's been a while. I had to actually watch my last Flosstube this morning to see what I'd shown you last time. And I was shocked to see that it was June was my last one. And I really intended to come back in July, but obviously life just got on top of me and, you know, time just went. So I'm sorry about that if you've been waiting. But yeah, I guess I've just been busy. Few fun things that have happened. I went to, it was a bit of a last minute decision, but I went to Stitch in London on the Friday. I think I had about a week's notice. So that was my first taste of a retreat. I've never been and seen anything like that before, and it was really lovely. I must admit, it was... So this is Stitch in London 2024. I believe I was on the first weekend, just on the Friday. Met Yasmin from Yasmin's Made with Love, who, you know, is amazing. Met Marie from Swan Bay Fabrics. And obviously met lots of people, lots of other stitchers. It's so lovely to be in a room full of people with the same hobby or habits or whatever, you know, sort of thing. Yeah, it was really nice, really good fun. So I think I'll try and get on the full thing next year and actually go and stitch and kind of relax, because as it was, I just drove to Watford that day, had a stand, and then drove back that night. It was a long day, but it was really good. A big shout out to Charlie Feathers, bless her. She was the first person I spotted when I walked into this venue, and I had had a couple of hours in the car driving, then driving through London trying to find this place, and I don't know, I was very God, what's the word? I don't know. I just must have been very nervous, very anxious, everything. I was a bit of everything, and just sort of sat with her and chatted, and I just feel like I don't even know what I said, but it probably made no sense. But she sat with me long enough that I calmed down, felt sorted, and was ready to meet other people. So she's probably seen me at my worst, really, but you know, it was really nice to see her. I also met Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows, which was lovely, and her friend Whitney. I even went out for something to eat with them later on, so that was a real nice time. And there was also Kim from Stitchy Squirrels, Rich, Stitchy Rich. Who else did I see? I'm trying to think who was there. Oh God, there was so many faces. Lots of other Flosstubers, and it was lovely to meet them in real life and see who they actually are. I should have written them down. But yes, saw so many. And it was lovely to see them all and see how they all get on and chat, and you know, and just putting faces to name. Well, I suppose you watch them on Flosstube, so you do know their face, but it's nice to actually meet them in real life and go, you're them. And I had a bit of I found it really surreal, because for me, they're the people I watch on my telly while I'm stitching. So it feels like they're really famous and they're really sort of like, I don't know, yeah, they're the celebs, I guess, for me. But you know, it was just, I felt a bit shy, felt a bit daft, but you know, that's how it goes, I guess. Yeah. And so then, so that was one thing. So that was on a Friday. I think that was beginning of October. And then the following weekend, I was at Ali Pally, or Alessandra Palace in London, doing the Knitting and Stitching Show, which is a week-long, well, we sell on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. big show where people can come and just see you and stuff, and I felt a lot of love that day or that week. It's quite intensive. You've got Wednesday to set up, and after you finish trading on the Sunday, you have to pack up everything and leave it as you found it, sort of thing. So it's a lot of hours. And obviously I'm still living in Kent, but getting up to London each day to do this before it opens for the public. So they are very long days, but so much fun, such a good vibe. All the other sellers are amazing. If you want to go and get immersed in any crafty kind of things, it's an amazing place to go to. Yeah, there's like sewing if you're doing clothes kind of sewing, there's quilting sewing, there's embroidery, cross stitch, knitting, crochet, needle felting or punch felting, whatever you say. All of those would be there, and there's such a variety, and it's pretty good quality stuff as well. You don't really get the cheaper stuff. It is the nice independence, really well designed, perfect for gifts. Yeah, and I just love it, and all the other stall holders are lovely and they're quite a good laugh, and yeah, you get a real feeling of camaraderie as you're doing it. And then from the public you get a lot of love, and I'm really pleased to say a lot of people came up and said that they'd watched me on YouTube, which I was surprised at, to say the least, because I'd only got 4 up. I didn't think anybody would have found me. So if you were any of those people that came up and said hi and that you'd watched me and you have your own Flosstube, please put the name of yours in the comments, because I was trying to remember everybody's to go back and watch them. And obviously I had a lot of things to remember that week. So please feel free to put it in the comments on this video, and I will be watching them soon, because I've just been getting back into Flosstube to watch them all, because as I said, I've been so busy. Not only have I not loaded a new Flosstube, I haven't even had a chance to watch them. So I'm catching up on ones pretty much from September onwards. I'm going through each person and catching up on what they've done. Yeah, so at the moment I'm watching a lot of Halloween stitching, but you know, it's nice to see what everybody did and how they've been getting on. So yeah, those are the main reasons I have been so quiet, because I am just busy preparing, busy doing stuff, as well as my husband turned 50 this summer, and so there's been a few celebrations for that. We managed to get a hot holiday away, you know, nice stuff really, and catching up with family, and yeah. So anyhow, on to the stitching, which I'm sure is what you really want to see anyway. I thought I'd start by catching up. Well, originally when I started doing this, or preparing for this, I thought I haven't done any stitching in ages, so I'm going to have nothing to show them. But actually I must have been stitching a lot in the summer before I got too busy with the stands and stuff, because I got it all out to iron, and I'm quite impressed with what I've got done. Sorry, my watch is just talking to me for no reason. Anyhow, so to start off with, Witchy Stitcher, the Poisonous Plants pattern, I have actually finished. Sorry, I'm just looking for something to put behind it. I'll just use one of these so that it doesn't show too much light through. Hopefully you can see that. I've got it finished, even the lettering, and I just think it looks amazing really. I did finish this well before Halloween, but I do think because of the colourings and the way it's done, this could easily be a bit of a Halloweeny stitch. But I do love this one, and I've got plans for how I'm going to finish it off. Well, I've got plans of how I want it to look when it's finished off, but I don't know how I'm going to get it there. So I've got to make that plan. But yes, so that is a finish for me. You know, don't expect to see stuff fully finished. I'm just happy I've got it stitched. And I think that is lovely. I'm really pleased with that one. That one is obviously stitched on a 14 count Blackada, and it's using all the called for DMC threads. So then next up would be my Boomerang stitches, the Bird Nerd, which, looking at it, hasn't moved on massively, but, well, kind of not in the interesting bits. Where's the thread pad? What can I put behind it? Oh, I should have been more prepared here. Oh, I've got a bit of card there. Right. This is, I've managed to do the 2 branches, it looks like, because I'm pretty sure I had the 2 birds done before. And yeah, now I've finished off the branches, so I know how wide it should be. So I've got plenty of fabric. And I think that's as far down as the pattern goes. I'll have to remember, but yes, I could probably start to cut this bit off as well. But you know, it's looking lovely, isn't it? Once again, I've used all the call for DMCs on this, but this is the fabric, which is a little bit unknown of what it is, and I assume it's covered in starch because it just feels awful. Yes, so that is Bird Nerd by Boomerang Stitches. Then I have another finish. So this is stuff that I'd completely forgotten and thought I wouldn't have anything to show you. I finished off my Barbara Anna Garden of Dreams, which is just sumptuous, gorgeous, perfection. Yeah, I absolutely love her. And as I've been stitching this, I kept thinking, I am going to have to always have a Barbara Anna on the go, because I just really enjoy them. I think the way she does the facial details is amazing, like having the different skin colour to this skin colour to that skin colour and a little different one. You know, obviously you're using about 5 or 6 flesh coloured colours there, but the effect is amazing, isn't it? And just the way her style, it's the shape of things, it's the way she deals with stuff, you know, really amazing, really love that. And this one is stitched with all called for DMCs on a 32 count even weave in natural or raw, whatever. Yeah, it is beautiful, really beautiful. Really enjoyed that one. So it's the finish, means I'm allowed to crack on with others. Right, so my next thing that I was going to show you was Olga's stocking by Plum Street Samplers. Yeah, I can show you where I was last time, which I can't remember at the moment. And then I've stitched a little bit further, so you can see there I've gone right down the tree, stitched the leaves, stitched most of it and a little pumpkin, and then I've had a little delivery from Patchwork Rabbit, and inside is the missing thread, which is the endive. So I can actually finish off, there's little bits that are missing on the one that I've stitched because I was waiting for that one thread. But as you do, as I'm stitching it, can you see here there is like a creamy white, which I was really worried about beforehand showing up, and I think we can all agree when you look at it like that you don't see it at all. And I thought I could live with it, but the more I go on, it just seems to really aggravate me instead that I can't see it. And I'm really aware that there's a big white pumpkin down at the bottom of the pattern, and I don't want to get to the bottom and realise it's not going to show, and what's the point? So I'm going to start again. You're probably going to think I'm bonkers, but I've just decided, even though that bit is really pretty, you know, the birds are lovely, the leaves are great, I think I'm going to start again and choose a different fabric. It's just not working for me. But saying that, I haven't actually got a fabric ready to swap it onto. And this was meant to be my Halloween stitch or autumn stitch. And we are now in November, so I've obviously missed my slot, really. But I do love this pattern so much, and I really want to get it done. So I'm gonna really have to find something that it would work nicely on. Yeah, so maybe next time I'll have some progress to show you. We'll see. I'll have to do a bit of searching around and see what I can do. But feels sad to start again, but I just can't bear to spend any more time on it and then worry that I'll never be able to see it, you know. Or even if I finished up the stocking and hung it on the stairs where I want it, it would aggravate me every day if it wasn't visible enough, because it's a lot of time and effort, and you know. So I think the best option is just to restart. So there you go. That's a little update on Olga's stocking. Yeah. But I'll keep you posted on that one, like I do. So then my next one was Within a Dream by Artsy Housewife. Now, I think I've stitched more on here, but actually I'm not too sure now. Oh yeah, I thought there was a bit of dirt on there. So this is how far I've got. I'm loving the border. The border is actually quite fun to stitch. I don't know why I've just done that one random patch there. I would have thought I was coming down here. But yeah. And basically, I've spent so much time on the border, I've not got around to doing any of the fun stuff. But I think I was doing the border because I was just really stressing about if I had enough material and if I wanted to cut the edge off. Oh, and that's one thing I forgot to say about the knitting and stitching show. Like, you go to these things and you get tempted by so many lovely kits and crafts and what have you, but the one thing that I got really tempted by and bought as a real treat for myself was a overlocker. So now I can cut the material off and then serge the edge, which is a result for me. Yep, that'll be good. I'm going to look forward to using that. Yeah, and keeping my edges all nice and tidy rather than letting them fray. This fabric is a 18 count Ada by Coffe Craft Fabrics. So she doesn't name her fabrics, but you can see it's a lilac with a bit of peach and a bit of pink mottling on the top, but it's mainly a very pale lilac kind of colour. I don't know where you're catching it, but yes. So yeah, so hopefully I can cut stuff off and overlock it and be able to use the other part of the fabric at the same time, whereas at the moment I don't. Then going back to Barbara Anna, I had started light last time for Sally and Sarah's 50 starts in 50 years for 50. They're fun for 50 Sal, I think it is. They were doing light, and so I started it, and then I must have stitched some and then put it aside and forgot. So even though this isn't very far on in the pattern, it's a lot further than what I showed you last time. So as you can see, I have got most of the dress done and a few little houses. Once again, I think I'm doing the houses so I know how far I need to leave the fabric. I should really measure it all and count it out, but that would be too straightforward, wouldn't it, really? And nice and easy. But yeah, I think she is starting to look really lovely. I'm pretty sure I'm using all the called for on this one, because this kind of brown, slightly mauvey purpley brown in a weird way, it was really lovely. And I love this kind of colour here, and they're both colours I have never used anywhere else in any other pattern I've done, so I really wanted to see what they would look like stitched up. Yeah, so you know, obviously when the fox comes into it a bit more, then you'll really be able to tell the colours better. But at the moment, I'm loving it, and I'm loving it on this green. This was a 32 dark olive Belfast linen. I think it's just Figart. Yeah, it is. It's got the orange bit. Yes, so I'm quite pleased with that. Since I didn't remember getting it out and stitching on it. I obviously did since last time I saw you. So yeah, another one, small little win for me. Okay. Oh, I feel like I'm going through these really quickly. I think it's nerves and anxiety, anxiousness. Right, so, oh, this one next. Also, last time I talked to you about the spider banner pattern by Alessandra Adelaide, which was a Halloween pattern. I don't think I ever got to stitch this over the Halloween period, but I obviously started on it and stitched quite a bit before, you know, and just didn't remember doing it. So if you remember, I chose habanero on the bottom here, and if I go up close you might be able to see the differences within that. That kind of bit of pattern, I was really unsure of what it is. I don't know if it's fire or some sort of webbiness. I couldn't really work out from the pattern, so I just thought I'll go for a colour slightly stronger than the fabric, and I think that works quite well, really. And then the I've started on the spider. He's starting to come together. I'm going to kind of work upwards on this one, but yeah, I'm really pleased with him so far. And it's actually really nice to stitch on. This is obviously an even weave. I'd guess it's, could be a 36 even weave. I'll have to look back and see what I said. And I think this must be a Fabrics by Crafty kit as well. I don't remember. Coffe craft fabric. I got that right? Yeah, I'm sure it's one of hers, because I'm not really sure where I would have bought this from otherwise. Yeah, so that's that one. So yeah, I actually got that one started, and the other one I got started was the Books and Night pattern by Tidy Patterns, which is somebody I found off Etsy. So I'm just gonna have a quick little drink. Last time I was telling you I'd bought the pattern, but I hadn't chosen any colours. Well, I stupidly haven't brought the pack of colours here, unless I can find it quickly. No, I'm not going to be able to find it quickly. So we're going to have to see it as it goes along. Maybe next time I'll be more prepared and show you all the colours I've chosen for it. This is another Coffe. I've hit the label on this one. This is a 32 even weave by Coffe Craft Fabrics. So I've obviously gone for quite a greeny colour and started with a dark grey and a bit of a coppery kind of colour. It's been so long since I actually stitched this bit, I have forgotten my own colour thoughts on this one. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to start doing Flosstubes far more regular now. So I will dig it all out for the next one. And yeah, be able to give you a better impression of what it's going to be. And obviously by then I'm hoping I've got a lot more stitched. I do know I'm stitching it all in DMC though, while I'm trying out the colours. But yeah, so that is her. She is done. Oh, that's as far as I've got with her. That is all my main stitching kind of bits. I have bought myself several fabrics. I got 2 from Sparklies, which is Gina's Delight. Until I get that one out. I haven't actually opened these myself yet. So this is, what did I call it? Gina's Delight. Very low mottling on this, very delicate kind of blue. I'd say it's a real kind of a good baby blue really, but quite on the fresh side. Some baby blues can have a bit of purple in, but this is, yeah, just really pale. I don't know if you can see. You can see the mottling, but it's very pale all round. Yeah, it's more of a very pale, very pale cyan kind of blue, I would say. But so I bought that one, no plan at all for what it's going to be used on, just putting it out there. But I do like to look at blues because I never have a good blue. So I must have just thought at the time I just should buy some blues. And then this is, oh, that one was a 32 count even weave. This is a 32 count even weave as well, in what's called Tropical Reef. So this one, as you can see, is a lot stronger, but still it feels to me like it's bleaching out in this light. Maybe if I tilt it that way you get a better impression of it. Yeah, you can kind of get the, it's an aquary blue. It's really pretty. But once again, I've bought that on a whim with no plan of what's going on it, so it'll probably go in the basket for a while until I find something I need it for. So those are my ones that I've got from Sparklies. I have joined the Fibre on a whim one where they send it out to you every month or whatever. I can't even think of the phrase. How bad is that? Anyhow, so this one, this is a 32 stone Belfast, it says. So I guess the colour's stone. It's very pale grey, very pale grey, which goes quite nicely because one of the things I did buy myself, which is in this folder here, which was another thing that was meant to do for Halloween. You know, the plans were all there, but never got to fruition, is I bought myself this one. The Flight by Not Forgotten Farm. I think she is great, that little witch. Look at her. And on a pair of scissors. So I really wanted to stitch that one. I thought it wouldn't actually take too long either, because it's only 6 by 9 inch and there's a lot of sky there that you don't do any stitching in. So I thought that would be really cute. So yeah, in actual fact, I think this might be the perfect fabric for that. Because I do kind of wonder whether she should be on something darker, but then all the black of the scissors and the hat and the bat wouldn't stand out, so I might just go light. And yeah, but that should be a nice one. I will try that one out. I'll still do it. I think there's been several Halloween stitches, which obviously have been advertised a lot recently, where I just fell in love with them, and I just thought I'm going to stitch them all year round, because by next Halloween I'll be busy again, so I shouldn't even wait for October. I should just plan to do them earlier on in the year. And yeah, do that and yeah, get on top of things really. So then what other fabric did I get? I got a, now I've done Coffe craft fabrics, fabric of the month. That's the phrase that I meant, fabric of the month. Oh my god, I must be tired. Yeah, I've joined hers, because the main thing is I thought I was out of fabrics everywhere, and this one is gorgeous. I'm going to try and put it that way to see if you get the colours. It's a grey blue again. They all seem to be very similar colours at the moment, but you can see the mottling on that, I think. Hopefully you can see the beautiful colouring. I think that one is lovely. I will definitely get use out of this. In actual fact, that Not Forgotten Farm one could work on this as well. Might just give a bit more interest in the background because the mottling's stronger. Yes, so that will, I'll enjoy stitching that one, I think. Very pretty. Yeah. So those are what I've done, and I've signed up for one more fabric of the month. I obviously decided I was out of fabrics, so, and this one I was so in love with when it turned up. This is Roxy Floss Co's fabric of the month. I've gone for 28 even weave, not really sure why, but I did. But I went for the modern version, so they do 2 fabric of the months. And I can't remember what the other one is, but it's more subtle and pastel-y, maybe better for samplers and stuff. So I went for the modern one, hoping I'd get a bigger selection of colours and a bit of variety, and they did not disappoint. My first one that came, I don't think they've named it either actually, unless there's a name on it somewhere, but look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Let's see, can you get it there? I'm just going to move it all around so you can get a good idea of it. This one came last month, I think, and I absolutely loved it. And you might think I'm really crazy, but to me, this says Christmas. I think you could stitch on that in loads of greens and golds and have a really lovely, bright, festive ornament on your wall, sort of thing that really stands out, something that's beautiful and intricate. Oh God, I'm not even gonna, you know what I mean. Yeah, really love that. That is, and it's a colour you never see anywhere. So I am very pleased with that, and I know they're starting a new thread club, or couple of thread clubs starting in January, so I'm definitely going to sign up for that. I think I'm going to probably do the one where you just work your way through the whole set of their threads, and I'll just plan that. I'll just keep getting them because I'm going to use them. I know I will. I'll have plenty of things to stitch, and I'd like to start designing with fancier threads and not just DMCs. But obviously DMCs are easy for everybody to get, so there is that kind of factor. But anyhow, right. So those are all the fabrics that I've bought myself. And the other things that I've bought myself, I've got a few patterns. I don't know how many of you are fans of The Handmaid's Tale. I know it's a bit full on in places, but I absolutely love it. And I know through this back end of this year, they were filming the final series. So I made my husband binge watch the old episodes so that he knows what's happening in the story for when the next series comes out, because I'm hoping that's spring, summer next year. But anyhow, while I was doing it, I thought I have to stitch something from The Handmaid's Tale. And I saw this one, which is a phrase that is used a lot in the programme. And I thought that would look quite nice. I'm going to have that stitched up and put it somewhere up here. You know, quite like the phrase. But there you go. So that's one of my plans. So hopefully you'll see this one come into fruition soon. This is actually off somebody from Etsy as well. I'm going to have to put their name at the bottom of the screen here because I've forgotten to write down who it was. But yeah, I can just go through my purchases and find it that way. So I'll be able to tell you that. The other one, obviously I've finished a Witchy stitcher, so that means I'm allowed to start another one, which I have several on the go, but because it was the run up to Halloween, the one that I kept thinking about and want to go back and do is it rubs the lotion on its skin and it gets the hose again. Is it? Or else it gets the hose again. Yeah, I would love that one. That is just kind of one that would make me smile most days in a very random way. Don't know what the rest of the family would think about having that on the wall, but it's not their decision, it's mine. I would, yes, and they know what kind of films I like anyway, so they'll probably understand. And for that one, oh, I should have ironed this. I have got a bit of fabric. You may remember if you watched the last episode that I had just got into dyeing fabric. I had done my first piece. Well, over the summer while the weather was good, I got into it. So anyhow, I dyed myself a gold, what I was calling like a tarnished gold, like an old gold. I've hand dyed this one using Rit dye, so you can see. I did a few extras which I sold in my shop, but I think they've pretty much gone now because it was just a one-off. I just did a few bits like as fat quarters. But this one is what I'm going to stitch that pattern onto, the Witchy Stitcher one. And while I'm showing you this, I'll show you the other colour I did was a purple, which I called Purple Peril. This was a mixture of lilacs, purples and greys. Oh yeah, maybe if I get close up it looks good. So as you can see, it's kind of a bit dirty in places, but I really like that. At the time I was thinking Halloween, so you know, that'll... Actually, shall I do a close-up of the tarnished gold so you can kind of see the kind of mottling and the shades? Yeah, and then my other one that I dyed, which a few people might have seen over this summer or over this autumn, was a kind of blue with a bit of grey, a bit of green, and basically I dyed, I think it was a whole bolt's worth of fabric in one go because I was doing a stitch along, and I had found an Ada from Zweigart, which was a nice blue which I could use, but I just couldn't find a blue for an even weave option or a linen, so I dyed a whole bolt full myself. When I'm a brand new at dyeing, I thought it was quite ambitious to have that many pieces that I was trying to get all to match. But I'm pleased to say I managed it and I really enjoyed doing it. So I think in future, some stitch alongs or some patterns I may just do as a limited edition, which has my own dyed fabric in, because I could do it as a one-off on a day when it's nice and sunny. Don't know how people do it where they do thousands of meters, month after month, constantly getting the same colour all the time. Have no idea how you manage that. That is some sort of like physics or wizardry, or I don't know, that is far above me. So yeah, so this one I have done. And talking of which, I could show you the actual stitch along that I did. When I last saw you, oh God, yeah, I had been saying about the Dreaming of Summer stitch along, and I don't think I ever showed it finished. So this just shows how long it's been since I filmed, which is terrible, isn't it? So anyhow, the final version of Dreaming of Summer looked like this. For those of you who've done it or haven't done it. Yeah, I was really pleased with that. Yeah. Weirdly enough, this is based on our little house here. Our garden does not look like that. This garden is full of all the plants I wish our garden had and that was able to grow. Our garden is nowhere near that. But they're all the kind of flowers that you look for in the summer and it cheers you up. So that was the stitch along that I was talking about on my last video. Since then, I started a new stitch along, did the whole thing, and it's all completed. So that one is this one. This is called Night Riders. So as you can see, this is that fabric that I've dyed with the mottling, because I was trying to get it, yeah, I just wanted a nice bluey night sky kind of thing. I did keep thinking that pattern, I bet, would work on quite a nice bright orange as well. So I might have a go at stitching it up on something like that, because I think sometimes a Halloween sky is quite nice and sort of like tangerine-y colour. But yeah, so that one, obviously the sal is not on anymore, but you can buy it as a kit or a pattern or whatever you want. But yeah, I was really pleased with that one. So that one's gone down well. And actually since then, I've started another stitch along, which is Oh Christmas Tree. That one is currently ongoing. I've only sent out the part 1 so far. Part 2 comes out next Thursday, the 21st, is that, of November? Yeah, so that will be the next one, and that's obviously my Christmas themed one. Yeah, so I can put up a photo of how far you've seen. I can't show you my stitched one because I'm already stitching part 2, trying to get ahead of it because I need to get a photo done soon. So yeah, and actually with the, I feel like I'm just flitting around here, but anyhow, if you're keeping up, well done. For the Night Riders kit, the Ada that I found, which was the Zweigart one, is this Ada. So you can see I was getting quite close to that Ada. This one, this pattern is actually a Halloween pattern that I did this year called Pumpkin Toad. Which this is my stitched up version one, which I made into a little trick-or-treat bag. Because that's kind of how I imagined him being used, really, which I'm really chuffed with the choices of fabrics I've used. They're just from my local quilt shop, but I really like that. Yeah, and the only bad thing was this bit of finishing, so I've got to somehow doctor that. But I did it the night before I was setting up at Ali Pali, so I had to have this out on display. So a lot of people have seen it like that, but I am really pleased with my little pumpkin toad. I think he looks pretty good. So those were the bits that was meant to be just talking about my stitch along, but it went a bit random there, didn't it? The other one that I got, a pattern that I bought myself, was Cottage Garden Samplings, October 31st. This is one that I just loved last year. Just loved the look of it. And it's one that came in my delivery from Patchwork Rabbit. So this came with the endive in it. I don't think that it needs it in that pattern. No, it needs tin bucket, which I don't have, which is handy. I didn't actually order the threads that I need for this. Rookie mistake. But also the other thing that I got from Patchwork Rabbit is this, the Cross Stitchers planner for 2025. Trying to get it with no glare on it there. This is my attempt at getting myself organised. I thought I'd start putting in here basically what I'm stitching, like these ones that I've been showing you today, where I can actually write on there the fabric that I've used, the thread that I've used, because as I'm chatting to you, I keep forgetting what I've used, and if I've changed anything, I'm going to put it in here so I remember what I've done. And also to track things in, so I'll plan ahead of what I'm going to do and when I need to start it and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm hoping this will keep me on track, and might even put in when I post a floss tube, because it'll be quite handy that I actually know where I am, what I've done, maybe even what I talked about on that floss tube, so I know what to update you on. So that was my Patchwork Rabbit purchases. And then quite randomly, I just thought I'd mention, somebody has asked about these little stands in the background here, and it was in one of the comments that I've had, and so I promised on my next video I would show them. There's it's actually just something I made myself, which is really easy to kind of, if I just pull it apart, you just slide everything out, so it's just 4 bits, so I can flat pack them, because these shelves are what I actually use on my stands when I go to these fairs and sell stuff. And yes, I put the shelves up, and then I just have these all nicely flat packed, and so I can just pop them out, and then as you can see, I can have a stack of kits at the back here, but then also at the front I can just have 1 or 2 on display, which is kind of how I've got these, if this works. As you can see, I've just got a few, so when I'm displaying them on my stand, people can easily grab one, and there's another one there behind them. It makes it all a lot less work for me in the long run. But yeah, it's just something I've fashioned myself. I'm very lucky that I've got a laser cutter and can just make these things on a whim. And then also, when I'm at a show, if the kits sell out, which is quite fun when they do, I can just unpack that little stand and just put it away. So it means I don't have big gaps. I can kind of move everything around and space it out again, so it still looks like I've got a full stand. So if any of you out there are doing those kind of stands, it's a really good idea. You know, to keep on top of things like that. Right, so any other things to tell you? I think the only other thing to mention is my Patreon, but I just need to go and get something. Hi, I'm back quickly. Yes, on my last video I just mentioned that I'd started doing Patreon. It's been going really well. Really thank everybody that's joined in and what haven't you. On my last video I was showing you that I'd done a it was called Strawberry Thief. It was a little mouse with strawberries. Since then we've had the octopus, which came out, because it's been so long since I filmed, there's been so many that have come out. So I was just going to show you, there's the octopus one, which I made into a pillow, little cushion. He turned out to be extremely popular, and that is easily the one that has been asked for the most. So he will come out as a kit in the spring, summertime, I think. I'll go through and release him to general release, whatever. Yes, and I know a lot of people did that one as a stitch along. The one after that was Seahorses, which I've just seen this week. Charlie Feathers has actually stitched it up, which it looks amazing. I know that's really daft for me to say, but I was really pleased with it. And maybe that's why I bought all those blues, actually, when I think about it. I was probably trying to find a colour that I could stitch that one on, because I haven't started stitching that myself yet, but I will do. To autumn time, I did one called Falling Leaves, which has I drew in my little, my dog, Wilf, who's, he's my trusty companion on my dog walks, and yeah, keeps me company. Then I had the Boo Ghost, which was my kind of Halloween themed one that came out last month and has just disappeared off Patreon. That one, yeah, he's very cute, and I've got most of him stitched. Haven't finished him fully, but he's very, basically I stopped because I've been doing this Christmas tree stitch along. But when I've got more time, I'll finish him off, because he only needs like another hour or two spent on him and he'll be done. And then as from today, there's the new Patreon pattern, which I've just called Festive Joy, which looks like this. It is just something which I thought you could stitch up and have as a banner, as a decoration, or you could do it as a little long pillar or something. I just thought he was quite cute. And I do like doing typographic ones, and I haven't done one in a while. So I just kept it nice and simple. It could go on many things. I would like to say it would go on that red from Roxy Floss, but because I've done little red berries in there, I suppose I could change them into being white, but then the leaves aren't right for a mistletoe. But yeah, I think those kind of designs would look lovely on that red, being mainly golds and greens. Yeah, and I think I've said it all, really. There's probably going to be something that I remember later on. But yes, I'm looking forward to catching up with everything on Flosstube. I'm doing a lot of designs at the moment, and I have it playing in the background while I'm designing, so I quite like just hearing people chatting about their stitching and everything that they're getting up to and enjoying. It is such a lovely community, this whole Flosstube world. Really love sort of having this kind of time to have a bit of a conversation with people and get inspired and find out new things, and yeah. But anyhow, hope you enjoy your stitching, and I really hope I make another one very soon. Okay.